Hi there, Sagittarius. Welcome to your mid-December 2023 General Tarot Update. It's Raina here. So happy birthday to my fellow Sages. Anyone having their birthday in the first 2 weeks of the month, that would be me. So any of you who are also celebrating another solar return. And I'm christening this particular reading with christening my new tarot deck that I got. It's called the Witch's Tarot, and I had seen it on Amazon before, so I knew that it was, it seemed like it was kind of popular. So I decided to order it, and it's really cool. I wasn't I was kind of surprised at how close to the Rider-Waite imagery it is. It's like almost hard to distinguish it unless you really look closely sometimes, because they really follow it faithfully. But I just wanted, they gave like a couple of extra cards, and one of them was probably like a little joke. I just thought you'd think this is funny. They actually have the Ten of Swords in this with the same type of illustration, but they just had here, I'm sure it's just like a little joke, and she's looking at her cell phone, of course, so that's pretty funny. So anyway, let's see what this period of time holds. And also look at the back. I love like when the back is so pretty too. I love that color. It's kind of like I guess it's a shade of blue. I thought maybe it was like aqua, but it's like more blue. And I'm picking an additional card. I'll pick one more. Oh. There's just certain cards I don't end with. Okay. This is actually connected to Sag, believe it or not. Okay, let's see here. The heart of the matter is the Page of Wands. This can be receiving news that is, good news. And, it's in the upright position, so it can be good news. And, if you see the wands, you see the buds on that staff, it indicates that something is in the early stages of fruition, or growth, we could say, because wands is about expansion, which is another word for growth, and pages can be messages, but of course it can be anything that has that connection, like ideas and things like that. It's really frustrating because I just got a new camera, a new phone specifically for the camera, and even this seems to not be as sharp as I want it to be, but whatever. Just gonna keep going. Yeah, so that's actually a very good card. So it could be some kind of good news that you receive. And in the past position, we have the Two of Cups, and this could be connected to that. In other words, this is a card of reunion and anything to do with, like commitment to someone. It can be that as well. And so that can be that you're starting this relationship or connection with someone that you may have known before. And of course, at this time of year during the holiday season, people sometimes go back to their roots, their hometowns, and they meet old friends and friends of friends and reminisce. And so, who knows if any of that is going to be what does it. The higher message is the Six of Swords. So, really, what the Six of Swords about, you can see the movement of this card. It's about choosing peace over disharmony. But I would say, and so, like if this position is more philosophical than, reading it literally. So, how I see this is that regardless, let's say you go to a holiday party and you meet, your old high school crush or something like that, and you hit it off again and you start to think about the good old days. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to hook up with that person and you're going to be happily ever after. What it means is that you see the potential for something other than what you currently have. So it kind of highlights what is wrong in your current relationship. And even like the Two of Cups, I could even see somebody that is supposed to be committed to someone. Maybe you're engaged or you're in a supposedly monogamous relationship with someone, but you aren't sure if that person is the one, and then you have communications with somebody else or you meet them, and it really underscores that your current relationship isn't happening. That's just one example. And even like, work matters, the same thing can happen in those situations where there's just not that sense of being on the same page with your employer, for instance, or even coworkers, I suppose. And so I did get some challenging cards around this reading. I'm going to put them aside. But I think the problem is, I think with Sag sometimes, that we tend to be very positive thinkers. So we can and we're mutable signs, so we can really adapt to a lot of different conditions. And sometimes we're a little bit too adaptable and maybe reluctant to make changes when necessary, because we just get used to things the way that they are. What crosses you is the Eight of Cups, and this is the card of walking away from what no longer serves you. And, really a lot of these things, I think it's human nature, where people don't want to necessarily turn their life upside down. But at least having that understanding that something isn't right, I think that's a good starting off point. And maybe some Sages are not even there yet. And really it's about like feeling like, hey, my soul is it needs to be filled with something else. There's something missing. And so with the Eight of Cups and the Six of Swords, both of these cards could speak about leaving the current circumstances. What's coming in is the Three of Wands. This is a card, I don't know if it's, associated with a specific astrological sign, but I really think of Sag with this card, because the Wands are fire signs in general, but this idea of kind of wider pastures, wanting to expand your territory, expand your reach, and that can even include, I believe, travel and things like that. So that could be something that is coming for you in the future. And this is, with the Six of Swords and with the Eight of Cups, these two cards can speak about, seeking more out of life too. One on the spiritual level and one in terms of having harmony in one's life. And then I got a few cards, and I said, okay, I'm just going to pick one more, and I kept picking a few more because every single card that I picked, it seemed like it was a card that I consider challenging. And one thing I want to say is that until you have your solar return, your sun is in the solar 12th house. So, that can always speak to the past, kind of, those loose ends that need to be tied up, and the kind of the karmic residue, if you will, before you start a whole new cycle. So maybe some of these cards are reflective of some of the 12th house stuff that even includes secret enemies. That's another thing about the 12th house. And like, for instance, the outcome card, the first one I got, is the Five of Swords. And this is a card of, sometimes this can be a card of empty victory, where you get something out of a situation, but in the long run, you may feel like it wasn't the right move because other people were hurt. So for instance, in the case of reuniting with somebody, well, what about if they have a partner? And it's like, you may still hold a torch for that person, but if they have a partner, even if they choose you over that other person will have their life negatively impacted. So I'm not saying that this would be something the average Sag might do, because a lot of Sages have a strong ethical framework, but still, I'm just giving an example of that part of the interpretation. What I typically see with that card, the Five of Swords, is I think of the workplace sometimes, where, for instance, if you have, let's say you receive a promotion, and other people that used to be your coworkers, all of a sudden they have a problem because they think that, they should have gotten it, or you think you're so great. And so they're kind of talking behind your back. That's kind of what the Five of Swords can be about. And another possibility is even like within the family structure. If you're maybe you're married and you have in-laws who don't like you. They might not tell you to your face, but you can kind of sense it, and maybe other people have told you about their negative talk, and that can feel very stressful. So you might be with somebody that you care about, but you still feel like leaving because you feel that they're not defending you against their own family or something like that. So I picked a couple of other cards that I didn't want to end on, because the Seven of, I don't know which one I picked first, but it doesn't matter. The Seven of Wands is about standing your ground. And again, Wands, this is fire, and fire is independent. It is individualistic. It is, it can be aggressive. But it's like not lying down and being a doormat. It's like defending your right to be who you are. And there may be cause for that, because people, and maybe it's more than one person with the Five of Swords, who are dissing you in some way. The Eight of Swords, to me, this is more of an inside job. This is somebody who feels like their hands are tied, like they can't do anything. They can't make a move because something is keeping them from doing so. And really what this thing is your own self-defeating, now what do they call that? Not self-defeating patterns, but self-limiting beliefs. Now, I will say that those self-limiting beliefs tend to come from other people, parents, teachers, society in general, that project their own limitations in some cases, or just their own indoctrination onto, young, impressionable children. There might be karmic patterns as well that affect the way you feel about yourself. So those things can keep you from moving on. And that is something that you have to undo. They have these videos on YouTube about rewiring your brain. That's one of the ways to counter these old tapes in your head. So the last card that I picked is the Queen of Wands. And this is the card that supposedly is Sagittarius. I like to think it's Leo because of the sunflower, and Leo is ruled by the sun. But the point is that the Queen represents the water element, and the fire is represented with wands. And so what do fire and water have in common? They're both emotional elements. And so combining passion from the wands and creativity, and even that's another thing too, is that water is creative as well. So it's really about, I would say, two things. First of all, creating your reality. Rather than being a victim of fate, just waiting for something to happen, that you initiate things. Just like the Page of Wands suggests. Something, it's like the Page of Wands is at the center of this reading. But there are things that are lingering within maybe your vibrational field, if you want to call it that, that prevent you from really going for it. And there are, I'm not thinking of anything in particular astrologically for the universal sign of Sagittarius, but in your own charts you may see areas where there are some sort of restrictions, like Saturn's there or Pluto, that create certain, I don't know if I'd call them obstacles, but just challenges in one way or the other. And there are other transits that can affect that as well. But in any case, the Queen of Wands is about, to me, ultimately about ascending to the throne on the spiritual level that comes from elevating yourself. Like, you're not looking to the outer world to kind of give you those kudos and give you that kind of validation, and that includes a significant other. Because even in the best of relationships, we still have to believe in ourselves. So maybe that's the ultimate message here, is believing in yourself, Sag. And whatever it is, whatever your passion project is, whatever it is that you want to do in 2024, nurture that dream as we go into the new year. All right, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, the link is below. Take care. Bye.